Good afternoon. Welcome to another installation of the HUXTABLE podcast. I am here again with my compatriots, but today we have a special guest. So we kind of got our ass kicked a little bit in the commentary. We had a good episode last week talking about marriage and relationships and whatnot, getting married young and all of that. A lot of veterans on the line. And we obviously have a lot of good relationships with our sisters over at Spelman. And, like I said, there was a lot of commentary. Like I said, some of the feedback, we kind of got our ass kicked. So we felt like, hey, we ain't scared. Let's open up the discussion. Let's bring in one of our, dear sisters to give her take on it. So we got little Nikki from Philly in today to give her feedback. So welcome to the show this morning or this afternoon. You want to say, you want to give us a little intro real quick?
Well, I'm little Nikki from Philly.
We said that.
Graduated from Spelman, class 95. I am a writer and I do marketing. I have a company called BattleCon, which is a Comic-Con for battle rap. So I'm an avid battle rap junkie, hip hop head. Been married for 22 years.
Another veteran.
Yeah, I got a kid that's 20 and she's living on her own, and she was at Hampton and transferred to Morgan because she now lives with her boyfriend.
Whoa.
Okay.
Oh wow. So she about to get married young too, I guess.
All of her mother's
the mouth.
Oh wait, let's stay out of her business.
Let's pump the brakes on that. I mean, she's happy and she is, she don't ask for money. She pays her rent. Even in COVID, it's a physics major. The boyfriend was 20 when he graduated from Hampton. Now he's in grad school to get his PhD in physics. So they're together. And she's a movie star. My kid's a movie star. So
that's what's up. So it looks like you got success. So it is a pleasure to have you on today, and we can't wait to get your feedback and get your take on it, so we don't have all these women giving us shit about us and our funky ass opinions. So last week, Cardi B dropped a new release with Megan Thee Stallion. And of course, for me, when I hear Cardi B, I'm like, yes. And with Cardi and Megan Thee Stallion, I'm like, oh my God, where's my phone? So Friday, it dropped, and they let us have a real winner. Well, let me not say this. They released a song called WAP. Now, I personally loved it, but I grew up in the era of 2 Live Crew. I grew up, if you think about like all those rappers and all the guys from back in those days, you had, Ghetto Boys and Too Short, NWA, all of that. All of them had similar content. And if you think about the history of women in raunch rap, if you want to call it that, I don't want to call WAP that. I'm just going to say women that have had some more risque lyrics and whatnot. You got Choice, who was on with Willie D. You can look that up. You had, and then more recently, I guess you had Kia with the iconic classic. Is it?
My neck, my back.
My neck, my back, lick to my crack, which was another winner. But we've had all kinds of women have done this in the past. But I think Wet is one of the greatest songs I've ever heard. I'm gonna just say shit right there. Let's start by going around the horn and get everybody's take on WAP and what you think it's doing, because it's the hottest song out right now. I personally love it. I really wish you could get it playing in the background right now. So cool. Oh wait, Chuck, let's start with you. You said your daughter had a good take on it.
Yeah, I listened to the song today. Saw the video
for the first time
today. About 7:30 this morning. I didn't, like I said, it was like you said, it was entertaining. I was like, oh, okay. As from the male perspective. Now, I was sitting there, okay, now I got to ask my daughters if they had heard this already. And I did. And it was ironic. My oldest daughter had just listened to it. And I asked her about it, and she gave me the perspective of.
No, wait, how old is your oldest daughter?
She's 15. Mm-hmm. And the perspective she gave me was quite interesting. It was, she basically said that here is a woman's perspective of embracing their sexual desires or their body, and it's okay because we do it all the time in our songs, men per se. But it was just that she said that it was just a perspective and that it's still classy and it's still being a lady. It's women embracing their sexuality, their bodies, and it's nothing wrong with that because we do it all the time as men.
Gotcha. I went to Chuck first because Chuck said his daughter had some good commentary, so I want to get that in before I missed it. But excuse me for not saying ladies first. Little Nikki from Philly, can you give us your take, please, and bring the energy back up after Chuck?
I actually agree with your daughter. I think that there are a few spaces where women are allowed to be anything other than the whore, anything other than the mammy, anything other than the church girl, right? And in reality, I think that we are all some manifestation of any of them at any given time. I think that when we try to make people monolithic and not allow them to be fully human, that's when we start to have cartoons, and then we get twisted when we start to see them do something that is actually natural, right? So when you listen to Cardi's rap, right, there's a part where she's like, "This is how I got my ring."
Yeah.
Yes. You want to keep your husband? You need to make sure that you know what you're doing, you know, and that's how you keep your ring. That's how you keep it together.
Hey, Nikki, can you repeat that for the ones in the back that didn't hear that?
No, I just think, I mean, everybody has their own thing, right? I'm of the persuasion that we have to embrace people for their whole selves, right? So the song, for me, I love the song. I think it's entertaining. Yeah. I think that it is adult music, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Adult music. I don't think that children should listen to it. Absolutely. I don't think that, I even think the teenagers might be a little too young for it. You know, every household has their different parameters, right? It's not pornographic music because, you know, it's adult music. It's music, it's Millie Jackson. It's stuff that, you know, I'm stroking. Like all the things that our parents listened to when they were, you know, our age. And so I'm with it. I love Viola Davis. Actually, they did a meme, and then somebody did like a really clever video excerpt where they kind of infused her into the video, and it was Annalise with her WAP, right? And then they have one picture where she's in Kylie Jenner's body, except it's all brown and it's her face, and she's like, "Yeah, this is what I gotta do for my WAP." And I think that once you kind of accept your own sexuality, I think that if you bring that to the table and you're comfortable with it, you should not be belittled. Now, that's my biggest problem, is that you have so many men policing women's stuff.
Yeah, and Nikki, I will say this. Now, I forgot, I left out.
Yeah.
The first thing that came out of her mouth was, "Oh, Daddy, that was nasty." Now, but she had her perspective, what she felt about it. She, in her initial, and when she said that, I was like, "Oh, thank God." She thought it was nasty. Okay, cool. You know, so I felt like I had that. That was my part.
She didn't think it was nasty.
That was my effect.
The appropriate thing to say to her father is that, "Daddy, that's nasty." Because what no daddy's girl wants.
Was that a trick? Was that a trick?
Got Jedi mind trick, homie.
The mind is a trick, man. Damn, the sun's come back out in Wakanda. Right? Damn, I wish I had my shades, man. Damn.
And like everybody knew, like I was like, "Oh, I can't." Like I was like, I just entered into my 20s by the time I started having sex, right? So all through school, and my dad was just so proud that his baby girl was not twisted somewhere with her legs up somewhere, right? So I remember one time he comes to like surprise me. And I'm like maybe 22, 23, 24. I was like after school, and I had my husband, but he was my boyfriend then. He was in the house, and all of my sisters are like in the door with my dad laughing, like he's coming. I come to the door, my stuff is all twisted up. And my dad, it looked like he was about to cry. So it's like daughters are supposed to tell their fathers nothing is happening. This is raised a good woman, and I'm, so. But again,
I don't think about no shit like that. Yeah,
I told my daughters, you can tell me.
You don't want to know though, do you? They should say, "Daddy, I'm thinking about having sex," right?
Yeah, come on,
man, take this shit to your mama.
Yeah.
But you know what? You want your daughter to be and if she is, she's like, Daddy, when we had sex, it was sheets between us. We just was grinding. Like, she's going to say something.
Nope. I don't want that.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know the details. I want to know that it happened.
Come on, guys. You guys have been biased. If you had a son, if it was a son, would it be different?
Yeah.
No. I want to know.
If you had a son, would it be different? I mean, Crump.
I don't want to know the details.
You guys, come on, man.
It would be. It would be.
I don't want to know the details.
So,
but I want to know
come
that
on, man. It's a
No, I get you,
thing.
Chuck. What you're saying, Chuck, is at least I want to know that she can come to me and talk about something like that. But, I guess in the back of everyone's mind is like, you never really want to know, but you do want to know. So,
I don't want to know.
And there are ways, this unspoken language too, right? So there are ways that she can say, "Oh, I love my boyfriend," or she can say certain things, and you can get it in the back of her head without her. It makes her feel uncomfortable too, to put her in a space where, unless you've developed that rapport, where she's telling you embarrassing things like, "Dad, I just got my cycle."
So, Nikki,
I'm okay with that. Actually, cycle talk, tampon, all that. Yeah, we can do this. Yeah,
not every man is
part of life.
Yeah, Nikki, but I'm just saying, our conversation with our sons of when the details of having sex with a woman is different from when women have details of having sex with a man. It is different. The conversation is different because we could be like, when my father had the conversation, he was like, he was on. My father was like, "Nigga, did you hit her from behind?" He was and shit, and it's okay. We laughed about it. It was a joke. Now, with you guys, with women, is it like a fairy tale or a fantasy, or is is it butterflies, the birds, flowers?
I don't think so. I think that when you don't make people whole people, they become cartoons, and I think the cartoon has the unicorns and the butterflies and all of that stuff, right? I think that women are kind of like CLAIR HUXTABLE and kind of like Cardi B. It depends on what day you catch her, right?
Okay.
So, and when you understand that, like, I don't know, my dad was cool with me. Like, I remember when he kind of thought I started having sex, and he had this conversation to me about my value. And I was like, "Oh, but I got to compromise because, we got to make a way." And he's like,
Nikki, did you say, "Daddy, I like him from behind"?
My dad died before I could tell him that. My dad died in 1997. Right before that.
But would you have done that?
I would have.
Man, I'm throwing a flag on this motherfucker,
man. Said, no, I like it all kinds of things.
That's what I'm saying. This is
the thing, though. And if y'all remember me from school, few people ever engaged me on sexual conversations. Like, one of my best friends is Larique, and it's so funny. He'll be like, "Nikki's asexual." He's like, most people thought I either was gay or just was like a little brother with braids or something like that. Like, nobody really saw me as like a sexy person or a sexual person. Even
of course we did.
Lies. Boom.
Shit. Talk for yourself, motherfucker.
Well, so many people that have told me I've looked at you as my little sister, and like.
That was game. That was some homecoming shit. That was some homecoming game. That was some bullshit. Don't believe that shit.
That's what I always thought.
I'm sure that's a great lead up to a better conversation 2 o'clock in the morning.
I've never really had nobody's ever even had that conversation. Even my dad, even my mom and my sisters, who are, when I was growing up, were so overtly sexual. Everybody talked about sex in my house. Like, it was nothing. And like, in fact, I was so repressed because I'm super holy, like super church girl, right? I was like, I'm never going to, do any of that. So that's why I was like waiting till I was going to get married, right? But my daughter, I didn't raise her that way. So my daughter can talk to me about sex, talk to me in detail about sex, talk about toys. She talks about contraceptives. She talks about orgasms and, So I think that it's about, but I think it's like a space. Because I didn't want her to grow up feeling ashamed about her body and ashamed about her own sexuality. And songs like this, where you see young women who are saying like, yo, this is what I like. And to acknowledge that something that's very natural and something that's very beautiful is a part of what they are. Like, I mean, who don't want to have a
Let me ask you this, and I ask the fellas this. I get everything that you just said, Nikki, but at the end of the day, fellas, would you marry a woman who came out like that? Who
came out like what?
In that particular way, right out the box.
What? Say she had a wet ass?
Well, I'm not saying. I'm talking from a marriage.
That's definitely a conversation starter.
It's definitely a conversation starter. But do you go and where have you put her on the mode of as far as respectability and credibility? And I'm just saying, I'm just asking the question.
I think that's a loaded question.
Third rail shit to me, man. I'm gonna step back from that one.
You know, that's a loaded question, man. It depends on the circumstance, the context of the conversation. You know, that's a loaded question. And how long have you known them? You know what I mean?
I'm talking about from jump. I'm talking about off the jump, because we know whether or not we're gonna go one way or another way with somebody within the first 30 seconds that we meet them.
Well, that could cause some challenges if I heard that off the jump.
There we go.
It could cause some fight, but some challenges I could work through.
It was me. I would have just assumed it was me, and she's doing some shit out of character because she likes me like that.
Yeah, I would feel weird if a guy walked up to me and was like, "I got a big ass. You want to get with me?" And I would be like, "What's wrong with you?"
Right.
Yeah, but that's a lot of people's game.
Prude, huh?
That's a lot of people's game, though. Guys do that just like a woman to say what she's singing in the song.
And I think what happens.
I don't know if that's the introduction. I don't think that's the introduction. I think that's maybe part of foreplay. That's a part of coy talk at 2:00 in the morning. That's different than when I meet you, and then it's like, who are you meeting that's talking to you like that?
But
right?
at some point, when you listen to the song, you listen to the lyrics, though, don't you start becoming numb to it to where it does become normal conversation and start saying immediately once you meet somebody?
No.
You don't think so? You don't think?
I don't think it's a regular conversation. Not really.
It's not.
I think to Crump's point, it happens more than you all give it credit to, because I know women that say that men approach them like that, and I know men that say women approach them like that. You know, they tell them how wet it is, how juicy it is, and what's up, and that's straight off the break. So what are you going to do?
I mean, but fella, I know you guys are all married, but you might have been in a situation where a woman has come up to you. What is the craziest shit that you might have heard? Like, I can tell you right now, mine's is that I know you want it.
She said she has a wet.
Okay. That's probably happened to all of us.
Hold on, D Cloud, you got a stoic look on your face, man. You contrarian, you hating this shit or what?
Just taking it all in, man.
Give me something, man. You ain't said nothing about Cardi B and Megan, man.
Hey, first of all, I don't
make you bust before she even meets you. I'm looking at the lyrics right here.
Hey, brother, I ain't never liked Cardi B or Megan Thee Stallion, so that's.
Oh my God.
What?
I don't like female rappers. Yeah, I don't like female rappers.
Uh-oh. I mean, I think you're going too far.
So hold up, Dick. Expound. Female rappers. Why you say that?
I did like Lil' Kim, but I just don't get into like WNBA. I don't like women's basketball. I just can't get into. That's why I'm sitting over here quiet, man.
And that's your truth. It's good.
Hey, I'm just keeping it real.
Mute dog, man. Mute him, dog.
Are you a chauvinist?
It's all right.
Little Nikki about to savage D Cloud. I'm glad, boy. You better get that 705.
Or any female rappers in any of y'all's top 10?
Top 10?
Yeah.
Come on, D.
Yeah. Gangsta Boo. Yeah.
No.
Look Kim.
Top 10.
Look Kim.
Yeah.
Nah. I would put Yo-Yo. Yo-Yo is in my top 25.
Hey.
And then
10. In your top 10. Nikki, who are your top 10, Nikki?
Yo-Yo and Megan.
Yeah.
Hey,
I have about 20 people in my top 10. Lou and I go through this all the time.
Any female rappers in your top 10?
No, I don't have a female in my top 10.
I mean, I'm just saying. I'm not being chauvinist. I don't
have Lauren in there.
Yeah, you tell them what you like. Hey, but let's get back to the song. Let's get back to the song and the subject, which is, what you really view of it. I think it's a hot song, right? But I think you got to put it in its proper context. And the reality of it is, I think both of them need to examine what anybody's takeaway is from it. There is, like Nikki said, it's adult music. And it is some stuff that they state in that song that for adults who are sexually active and want to enjoy a robust sex life, you need to hear that shit.
It's definitely some arousing commentary and that shit.
But not everybody need to hear that or can hear it. Like you said, teenagers, they don't understand half that shit. You talk about wet ass, they don't even know what make them wet still. So what does that all mean?
Quasi, have you heard a worse song than that?
Worse?
I mean,
hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard of it, but my point is
talking about
responsibility.
That song was Butterflies.
Hold on. Lil' Kim talking about fucking the Harlem Boys Choir. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Two Live Crew. Come on, man.
Come on.
We can talk about females going to with women.
We're not talking about worse songs. We're talking about your takeaway from this song, right?
Right.
That's what I'm getting at, and I think for the appropriate audience, it's a hot ass song. You know what I mean? But that song is not for everybody. I
guarantee you, this right here is gonna be just like.
So here's coming from a guy with 2 sons, right? That's some shit that, as amongst the fellas, be like, yeah. So you want some wet ass, yada 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 yada. But the real talk is,
mark my word, dog.
I'm not having that sexual conversation with my son. I'm talking to him about, what's involved with a couple, what's involved with parenting, the results that come from sex. That's the kind of shit I'm talking about. And I don't know that that's necessarily the message I want to have conveyed to them. Now, if they in Magic City in the lap dance, I'm telling that's a song all day.
That's why you go too deep with it, man. Because I'm telling you right now, if you remember when Bodak Yellow came out, and every woman in any establishment that shit came on was all like, this shit's gonna be that post-COVID anthem. I'm telling you. Wherever you go, when they play this song, women are gonna be singing along to this shit. I'm telling you, it's gonna be hot. It's the #1 song on iTunes right now.
No, I get that. But Quasi is looking at it from a parent perspective, and he's looking at it from a perspective of how do you raise?
When I share an iTunes account with my wife and my daughter, right? So I go in my daughter's room last night, and she listened to the shit, and I became physically sick.
Right.
Why?
Like, what the fuck?
Why?
The team, man.
I know that I would have.
Back to 1996 when Luther Campbell actually had to fight to get the parent advisory stickers on CDs, right?
Yeah.
The problem now is that, this is a larger argument. How can, in the streaming age, can there be parental advisory warnings on music so that you make sure that is there some type of, so that's the takeaway.
Well,
we are the parental advisory.
Yeah,
that's kind of my point.
Right. So this is the thing. Back in the day when you had the sticker, if you didn't have an ID,
the sticker didn't
you didn't have an ID.
At the end of the day,
you went to Radio Shack or you went to Tower Records. If you didn't have the ID, they wouldn't sell it to you. They weren't supposed to sell it. So for our kids to have access to certain things where we don't want, where we can't watch, right? That's why we need to really fight for some sort of technological parental advisory on it. That's why if you look at YouTube actually did the Wet and Gushy version, right? Because they did not allow the straight, nasty version, right? So that's their. They
haven't released it yet. They haven't released it yet.
But now they're.
Yeah, but that's like Cardi said. Cardi said one you have to.
But there's no, in this day and age, with the internet, you have access to whatever it is you want to see at any time. I don't care what they do on YouTube. I don't care what they do, what type of restrictions they place to prevent minors from listening to A, B, and C. It's not happening. That's not happening. So at the end of the day,
but Jay, And I agree with Nikki. And I will say this, Jay, you heard the song. Did you have a conversation with your daughter?
Quasi, no, I just heard it today for the first time.
Okay. Quasi, did you have a conversation with your sons?
I sure did.
Okay. And so in that conversation is, and it's just asking a simple question is, what was your perspective about the song?
I told him what I just said here. I mean, it's very adult appropriate first. And I broke it down to that's some shit that you asked. That's some shit that if I was in the nightclub or get in the strip club, I want to see a chick. I want to see a chick do what she do to it. At the same time, I was like, don't have that expectation out in the street, thinking that you can just walk up on women and be like some wet ass. Or that's the conversation.
But Quasi, I hear your perspective. But what was their perspective?
But you asked me my perspective first.
Have a conversation with your sons.
I sure did.
Okay, and so in that conversation is, and it's just asking a simple question: is what was your perspective about the song?
You asked me my perspective first.
Okay, but what was their? Okay, what was their perspective?
But let me give you the answer to that question. To them, they hear it as kids. Both my 19-year-old and my 19, who's a rising junior at Morehouse, and a 15-year-old hear it as that's just some music with a funky beat. And when they see the video, you know what they see? Hold on. And you know what they see in the video? It's just some fat ass. They don't think beyond that. And that's why I'm saying the writer, author, producer has to take into account responsibility, because there is a bigger message and picture that comes from this. We don't want our kids walking around just thinking that that's okay. And then in this Me Too, and then in your Me Too movement world, if my son said to some girl, "You got a wet ass," you ready to smack the shit out of him. You see what I'm saying?
So that's where the home training comes. So my sexuality or my expression of sexuality has nothing to do with how you respond, right? So the same way that we listen to Biggie, right? And listen to Biggie's lyrics.
So the big butt nurse come to suck my
horrible lyrics, but he's one of the greatest ones alive. No one has a problem with that. No one.
I do as a parent, not as a parent, but when growing up to it.
But when you, it's when you were in college. I remember
in college, hell no, I didn't have no problem with it.
You can't be hypocrites either, right? So the goal is to understand it and to parent your children. So my child, whether she hears anything about, if she hears the Safari remix or whatever she hears, she's never going to go outside in the street and act like that. You know why? Because she understands the difference between what this is and who she is as a person. And our goals, like I would assume, beloved, that if your son is a senior, a rising senior, rising junior at Morehouse, right? That you have poured into him, right? Exactly. Some really quality things, right? So he's never going to walk. I would hope that he would never walk up to someone unless, he does, he might be a Q one day and just lick somebody out the blue. but at the end of the day, he understands the dynamics. I think he understands the dynamic, right? And so I think that when we police certain things and we don't do the undergirth and training people, that's when we can't blame the world for our lack of parenting. I've seen you lick people. Stop it.
Oh shit! Wow.
Damn. Bang.
Yeah, it's funny about what you're saying. Here's what's funny: the hypocrisy of it all. Because one of the things that happened even in our growth as hip hoppers back in the day, the shit that like you said, Biggie and those guys would rap about, they didn't want their kids doing that shit. Snoop makes sure his kids go to the best schools. He don't send his kids to the same public schools in LA. Biggie made sure even before he died, Puffy and them, that Little Chris went to private schools. All them. So and Birdman, who tatted up, made sure his kid ain't got no tats on him.
But
so my point is,
to the music, though.
People make sure that they do parent different than what they showcase.
If I'm listening to that song, I'm not thinking about fucking what are my kids thinking. I'm thinking about some wet ass pussy, enjoying the song. I fucking first heard the song with my wife in the car. I'm gonna tell the truth. That shit shocked the shit out of me. I turned and looked at her like this, and I fucking hit rewind and played that shit again. That shit is hot. I'm not thinking about what my kids are gonna think about this shit. I'll adjust that shit later, but I can enjoy what it's doing. What it's saying.
He said put that Mack truck right in his little garage. God damn, Cardi B is talented.
In this COVID age, what I regret in this COVID age, because of my current situation, I can't be around motherfuckers in the strip club. I know that shit is knocking.
There are some tricks getting broke in the strip club for this shit. Woo. It's been a stellar week for strippers, dog. It gotta be.
No. I will say this. I mean, we talk about. I grew up on the most raunchiest rappers, probably the most raunchy. Too Short. You know, I love this stuff. I mean, but at the end of the day, we talked about it before. It's parenting. I mean, we all are good parents. At the end of the day, this forum right now are good parents, and we don't need to worry about the kids. And this subject about this song, it's I'm with Lou. It was a great song. Like, yeah, I'm feeling it. I was feeling it too. I was feeling it. And my daughter said it was nasty, but hey, the beat was tight. The beat is out of control. Y'all got to give it up. The beat is out of control. We all got to give it up. This shit is hot. This is a hot song.